Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Gerald here. Today we're going to talk about the subconscious mind, you all. It's a fascinating topic for me because I feel like we've all heard about the subconscious mind, but we haven't had a lot of experience. I know I haven't had a lot of experience learning what it is until recently. And it's something that really affects us to a great degree from day to day. So I guess students of psychology may be a little more familiar with it. You know, Jung was known for his conscious, subconscious, superconscious concepts of the mind. I've heard that before. And we know that the subconscious affects our behaviors daily and things that we do. But that's about it. And I'll tell you, with my recent explorations into spirituality, magic, all that other stuff, you become a lot more aware of the subconscious mind, what it is, how it works. Actually, the whole notion. Hey, Courtney, how are you? Welcome. Um, you become a lot more aware of the mind and all of its states. You know, your dreams are a powerful state of the mind too. And through observing yourself in all those different states, you become awakened to the capabilities, the powers, so to speak, and everything. So the subconscious mind is a very interesting aspect of the mind. It affects us to a large degree because, you know, our conscious mind only has so much attention span or bandwidth to share throughout the day. We're operating mostly off of our subconscious mind. There are things that happen automatically. So it's really like important for that reason to be aware of it. There are some attributes to the subconscious mind, and there are some really great books out there. You all, I wish I had the titles right now, but I encourage you to look into the topic because we'll get more into that later, but it's very important. So there's some important attributes. The subconscious mind records everything even when you're not consciously aware, like when you're dreaming or when you're asleep, whatever, it's still recording. So anything that happens in life is recorded by the subconscious mind, anything that you experience. And then we're we operate on the subconscious mind primarily. So your actions in life are basically and your behaviors are based on your past experiences and things that the subconscious recorded that you may not even be aware of. So that's why it's kind of important. It doesn't really filter anything out. And what I was about to allude to before is that, you know, there are entities that are aware of the subconscious mind and how it works, you know, media outlets, the news, marketing. There are people who study the subconscious mind and people's kind of like primal instinctual behavior, which is what the subconscious mind represents. And they can pull on those little strings to get you to do whatever you need to do. It's a means of control. So it's important to be aware of the power of our subconscious mind. Like one of the powers is that it can manifest and materialize anything into our reality. It's like a doorway. And so we have to understand the power of that. It affects our behavior and be aware that there are things out there that condition us, that trigger us, that can ultimately control us through the subconscious mind. So we have to sort of take power back over that. It can't we can't simply ignore like we've always done or like we've always been trained to do because we've not been told that it's important to be aware of the subconscious mind and how we should control the types of things that we consume, you know, information, experiences, um, exposure to media, the news, marketing, So we as awakened enlightened beings, individuals need to start thinking about that. Thinking about when it's more open, right before you go to bed, right when you awaken, is when the subconscious mind is most open and most impressionable. Um, and there's a bunch of little stories, analogies you can tie this to, but one of the things is Pavlov's dogs. Y'all know that whole um narrative about, when they used to feed the dogs, they'll ring the bell and then they'll feed the dogs. And eventually, when they ring the bell, the dogs will start salivating. Yeah, Courtney, the dogs will start salivating instantly, even if there was no food. Yeah, absolutely, Courtney. That's such a big psychological component to all of the work that we do with the spirituality and everything. So that's a Carl Jung bit. But yeah, they would ring the bell and eventually they would be conditioned to expecting food, so their mouths would salivate. And that's a means to control controlling an actual physiological response or behavior based on this conditioning that occurs. That same thing happens to you all with social media. Um, you know, I've noticed when I use social media and that little notifications thing lights up, it's almost like that same feeling as when you have a piece of candy. It's like, ooh, candy, or like if you get dessert, like it just triggers something and you're like, oh yeah, let's do this. Like, and it gives you this sort of fix. And it's it's intoxicating and it's like really seductive and everything. So yeah, it's very addicting. It's designed that way. Same thing with video games, you all, which I used to love playing video games as a kid. I don't play them now just because I don't own them. And that's another waste of time that I just don't need in my life. It's incredibly fun, and the whole idea around video games is that it is addicting in the same way. The stuff that they've done with the video games over the years is incredible. But it's also just something that's like you have to be aware of. So, hmm. So understand those things are designed. I mean, the whole point of social media is it's designed to sell you things, um, and to engage you and take your attention. So they've come up with pretty nifty little ways. And I was about the notifications, I was gonna say, lately it seems like I get tons of notifications for things that aren't even of interest in me. Sorry, y'all, it broke up. The way they designed um the notifications now, it's like they just do it just to distract you and get your attention. It's not even necessarily information that's pertinent or important to you. It's a distraction device. And then the very nature, yes, take your attention from things. All right, another thing about the subconscious is it's really open to images and also like words and thoughts, stuff like that, but especially images. So like whatever images you consume, they're really powerful. It works on symbols because that's the universal language. Like before we even have English or any other language, we have symbols and images. So when you're scrolling through social media, you're seeing all of these really seductive, sensational images. It's like the Seven of Cups card in tarot, and they're all distracting and they all produce these emotions and things, which can affect you in many different ways over the long run. So it's really important to filter what you consume and think about that. Are you consuming images and things that are empowering to you, that make you feel stronger and more connected to your spirit and like you can do anything? Or are you consuming images that make you feel less than, like you don't compare? Are they things that are kind of like fantasy or illusions that people concocted and you start to think that they're real, so you feel inadequate? Y'all, MTV Cribs. Y'all know we used to watch that show growing up and we would lust over the things that all these celebrities had. Oh, yeah. All right, Courtney, we're going to talk about that. Hey, Nicole. Awesome. Great, Nicole. Y'all, we had our first money manifestation meeting last night. That was partially the inspiration for tonight's talk, but it was wonderful. Y'all, I have some more great stuff I'm going to send your way today. So awesome. Um, yeah, MTV Cribs, we lusted over these houses and some of it looked so unreal. Growing up, kind of find out years later. I'll catch you up, Courtney. It's no big deal. I got you. Um, years later that most of that stuff was not real. It was all illusion. Why would they put together an illusion like that? To make you want to be more capitalistic, to make you feel inadequate, to create this fantasy, to take away your power. So be careful of what you consume. The images, especially your subconscious. Like when you do take control of your subconscious, you're able to use it as a tool to build yourself up. But let it be a tool to you and not something that's used against you by people who have other objectives. Um, yeah, so things have an ability of a way of materializing through the subconscious. It's your access point to many things. Now, Courtney mentioned dreams. Sleeping state and dream state is a great way to access the subconscious because your conscious mind is turned off. It's more open. Dreams kind of like are the interplay of symbols and stuff in your subconscious. So when you take the time to access them, this is something I've heard for years, but I've recently been experimenting with it, and I can say your dreams are a great gateway into your subconscious. Um, they present symbols every night to you. Your life is sort of like played out and through a different lens, and also you can go places and things in your dreams. So like most of us don't really pay attention because we aren't taught to value our dreams or our sleeping state and what it represents. But our whole life while we're asleep is a whole different thing. It's a whole other side of life. Wow, Courtney, I just started doing that. I want to hear more about that because there's so much power in that. Y'all, dream journaling is a great thing to do. Meditation, that's another great way to access the subconscious. And you can create actual visualizations for how you enter the subconscious. I have one that I use. Nicole, it's a practice. The more often you do it, the easier it gets. You can also set the intention when you go to sleep to remember your dreams. You can prepare yourself in the morning. It's just something you work with, and it happens more and more and more. You just have to pay attention to it. One thing I find that is as long as I don't open my eyes when I awaken, I can normally remember what I dreamed or parts of it, and I can piece it back together. But as soon as you open your eyes, it kind of immediately escapes. Yeah, keep that journal in bed, y'all. I had to get back to that. But there are messages and dreams, and when you journal, like it's surprising. I've had dreams that didn't mean anything to me at the time I dreamed them, and then months down the road, it all made sense. That's how it works. It's crazy. So yeah, pay attention to your dreams. Meditation. Yeah. Oh, cool. Meditation is a great way to access your subconscious, go into your internal world. That's what your subconscious is. A lot of times, subconscious is represented by water in symbology. So if you can imagine something related to water, that's a great way to access your subconscious. Um, and your psychic abilities, your intuition, empathy, all of those abilities are linked to your subconscious mind. So you can, when you start to work with your subconscious, you really will start to sharpen those abilities and explore and discover what they're all about. Also, your subconscious, like I said, records everything, including, past traumas, especially. So as you start to go in and work with your subconscious, you'll find different things tend to surface, different feelings and emotions. And that's really powerful because I'm going to do another video on healing soon. But when you access those things in your subconscious, like I said, your subconscious controls your behaviors, your actions without you really being aware of it. So when you become aware of those things that are buried, hey, April, what's up? When you become aware of those things that are buried in your subconscious and your psyche and your past, you can start to recognize them, heal them, and then release them. And it's going to make you a much happier person, much more empowered individual, and you can just do so many wonderful things. So it's really great to start to pay attention to what your subconscious is, what your experience of it is. starts by understanding how important it is and how much it affects you in your day-to-day life. And when you start to understand what it is, start to work with it to improve yourself, to manifest things, to release past traumas, and just to take back control of your life. Don't let things that are set up to disempower you, don't let them have the control. Take the power back in your life. That is the beauty of the subconscious. Does anybody have any comments before we depart? This is really fun. Eating on camera. April, Courtney, Nicole, I'm so glad y'all could join as always. Yeah, Courtney, I agree. I always heard that dreams were important and psychic dreams and stuff. I imagine what it was like, but when I started understanding how dreams give messages and they're actually a gateway to the subconscious. Oh, Courtney, please. We were on there so long. I'm glad that you were able to stay on as long as you could. But I'm gonna put something in the group today to catch you up, okay? When I started working with dreams and realized how they actually work, it was totally different than I expected and really powerful. So y'all, definitely work with dreams. And if you are involved in a spiritual practice, yeah, right, April, we've been working on it together. One thing I've been doing with April, especially, is talk to people about your dreams, you all. Okay, awesome, Courtney. I'd love to hear that. Like, exactly what I was just about to say. Talk to people about your dreams. Get in the habit of having someone you share your dreams with, because often you may not necessarily know the meaning of your dreams, but when you share it to somebody else, they have a ton of insight, or they'll have just a different interpretation. Share your dreams on a regular basis. And Nicole, that's another thing that will help you pay attention to your dreams, because you know that every night when you go to sleep, you'll have a oh I think we all are, April. Every night when you go to sleep, you'll be prepared to have that dream and you'll be looking for it. And you'll also start to understand what symbols speak to you. And um yeah, right. Exactly. What symbols speak to you and what they mean, so that when you do other work like psychic abilities and intuition and stuff, you already have like a whole index of things that mean stuff to you. And when you see it in the future, you'll know exactly what it means. Also, paying attention to yourself in a dream state and your subconscious. Yeah, that's the same thing, Nicole. When the images pop up, that's the exact same thing. Daydreaming as well. Like when your mind just wanders, those things are all symbols that you can use and they all mean something. So when you start decoding, that's another great thing, April. Asking a question, going to sleep with a question in mind. Normally, when you wake up, you will have worked out the question. So you can dream intentionally. That's a great thing. Another thing is lucid dreaming. Once you get really good at paying attention, you can kind of like wake up in your dreams and take control of them. So yeah, all of those things, when you start to pay attention to your mind and yourself in your dream states, in your meditation states, in various states besides the waking conscious state, you start to become really familiar and know how you operate. And that's another means of power, because it works differently for everybody. But when you're familiar with how you operate and what happens, you can start to take control of things. So it's really, really a great tool. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining. I can't wait to talk to you all some more. We'll have a new video